Let me ask you something. If a billionaire tells you to skip your morning coffee to get rich, do you A, roll your eyes so hard they nearly pop out, or B, start calculating how many lattes stand between you and a Lamborghini? Yeah, that's what I thought. Welcome to the twisted world of rich people advice, where millionaires and billionaires casually drop tips that sound wise on paper, but are completely out of touch with reality in 2025. In today's video, I'm exposing the 15 worst myths that rich people love to share. The kind of advice that sounds good in a podcast clip, but could literally sabotage your bank account, your mental health, or heck, even both. Because let's be real, some of this advice is just financial cosplay. It works when you already have 8 income streams, a trust fund, and a backup yacht. So buckle up. We're unpacking the worst offenders and giving you the real game plan to get rich in 2025. So without wasting any more time, let's dive in. 15. Just work hard and you'll be rich. First off, if hustle alone made you wealthy, every Amazon warehouse worker would be a millionaire, right? Try again. Now look, I get it. Hard work is essential, yes. But it's strategy, access, leverage, and timing that actually make people rich. Let's be clear about something. Grinding 16-hour days doing low-leverage tasks will burn you out before it ever builds wealth. You don't get rich clocking in longer. You get rich by building systems that work when you're not. Think about it. Jeff Bezos isn't packing boxes. Elon Musk isn't pulling overtime. They're scaling through automation, delegation, and ownership. Hard work gave them the start, but it was leverage that made them rich. And here's the kicker. Many of the hardest working people in society, nurses, construction workers, teachers, aren't building generational wealth because the game is rigged for scale, not sweat. I know this might sound confusing to some of you, but it basically goes like this. Work smart, build skills that scale, use leverage, like code, content, or capital, to turn your hours into assets, not just income. Speaking of hustle, let's bust the next myth that keeps people broke with a smile on their face. 14. Follow your passion and the money will come. Okay, Gary V. This one's poetic, but also financially dangerous. Passion without a plan is just a hobby. Your passion won't pay the bills unless there's demand in the market and you know how to monetize it. Let's break this down. You might love painting miniatures, writing poetry, or collecting vintage staplers, and that's awesome. But unless you can find an audience who values it and a way to deliver that value consistently, it's not a business, it's a pastime. And this is an important point I've been wanting to tell you. The truth is, most people don't get rich by following passion first. They follow opportunity, then develop passion for what they become great at. Ask any successful entrepreneur, and you'll hear more about solving problems than chasing butterflies. Want to turn your passion into profit? Great. But treat it like a business, not a fairy tale. Study the market. Build a product or service around it. Learn marketing. Understand pricing. Package it, pitch it, and pivot when needed. Now, if you've been following our videos on building wealth silently, you've probably heard me say this before. Real wealth is found at the intersection of what you love, what the world needs, and what people are willing to pay for. Now, what about the classic anti-luxury flex that somehow became a flex in itself? 13. I still drive my 1992 Honda? You should too. Cool story, Mr. Billionaire. But you also own half of Manhattan. Driving an old car when you're rich is a choice. Driving one when you're broke? That's just Tuesday. Let's not confuse performative frugality with practical reality. The millionaire next door might drive a beater to stay low-key, but they're doing it with millions in the bank, not because their credit score is in cardiac arrest. Frugality is wise, but let's not glorify struggle as some kind of badge of honor. Saving money is great, but building wealth is better. It's hard to explain this in detail, but here's what I want you to do. Live below your means, yes, but focus on income growth, not just cutting costs. If your budget only works when you're depriving yourself constantly, you don't have a budgeting problem. You have an income problem. This next one is a fan favorite for keeping people financially humble and broke. 12th, money doesn't buy happiness. Right, coming straight from the mouths of people who don't have any. I mean, ever seen someone frown on a jet ski? Money might not buy happiness, but it buys time, freedom, and options, which is pretty damn close. Let's be real, financial stress is one of the top causes of anxiety, relationship issues, and sleepless nights. Money gives you breathing room. It lets you say no to toxic jobs, care for your loved ones, and invest in your well-being. Poor people stress over bills. Rich people stress over which vacation to choose. That's not the same kind of stress, so let's not pretend it is. Before we continue, when you finish watching this video, go back and watch our Financial Freedom series. We've created step-by-step videos to help you on your path to success and see what true generational wealth is all about. That's why you need to watch the entire playlist to fully understand. Make sure to subscribe and join the channel for updates on all of our upcoming videos. 11. Just save 10% of your income and you'll retire rich. This advice is absolute nonsense. I mean, yeah, maybe in 1955. In 2025, that's how you retire into inflation-adjusted poverty. Let's do the math. If you're earning $50,000 a year and saving 10%, that's $5,000 annually. After 30 years, that's $150,000. Not even enough to buy a shed in a decent city, let alone retire comfortably. And heck, that's before inflation eats away at your purchasing power like a hungry raccoon at a buffet. With rising costs, saving alone isn't enough. You need to invest in assets that grow faster than inflation. Think index funds, rental properties, high-yield businesses, or even skills that raise your income ceiling. Because no one's retiring rich off a glorified piggy bank. Now let's talk about the advice that sounds deep, but is secretly reckless. 10. Take big risks to win big. Okay, now maybe they got me on this one. Yes, I understand risk is part of wealth, but risk it all advice? That's how people lose their savings, their homes, and their sanity. You're not a failure for being cautious. You're being strategic. There's a massive difference between taking bold, calculated risks and playing financial roulette. Wealthy people rarely gamble blindly. They hedge their bets. They diversify. They test before going all in. They understand one powerful rule. You only have to get rich once. Just don't lose it. Calculated risk is the move. Not blind leaps. The goal is to stay in the game long enough to win, not to go viral with your bankruptcy story. Now let's dismantle the myth that somehow makes average effort look noble. 9. Wake up at 4 a.m. like the billionaires do. Sure, wake up early if it works for you, but success isn't a time-of-day contest. You're not broke because you slept until 7. You're broke because your income stream has a cap and your expenses are choking your growth. Let's stop glorifying burnout schedules. Billionaires wake up early because they can. They're not clocking into double shifts or fighting traffic. You waking up at 4 a.m. just to scroll TikTok and sip instant coffee isn't going to turn you into Elon Musk. The truth? It's not when you wake up. It's what you do consistently with your time that matters. Focus on output, not optics. Ready for the quote that gets printed on mugs but ruins real momentum? 8. Good things come to those who wait. Nope. Sorry to break it to you. Good things come to those who act, learn, and pivot. Waiting is not a wealth strategy. Action is, especially in today's fast-moving economy. This myth turns patience into passivity. But in 2025, if you're just sitting around waiting for opportunity to knock, it's already walked past your front door and posted a TikTok about it. Success now goes to those who adapt fast, test quickly, and learn on the fly. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to move. Build, tweak, refine, don't freeze. In the digital economy, money rewards motion. This next one is the financial version of let them eat cake. 7. Don't worry about money, just be grateful. Gratitude is great, but try paying rent with good vibes. Yes, mindset matters. But don't let toxic positivity replace real financial literacy and hustle. This kind of advice often comes from people who are already financially secure, telling others to just be grateful for what they have, as if ambition is a sin. It's financial gaslighting dressed up as spiritual wisdom. Being thankful for what you have doesn't mean you shouldn't aim for more. You can be both grateful and driven. You can appreciate your current situation and still push for financial freedom. Let's not pretend that ignoring your bank balance and lighting a gratitude candle will fix the fact that your rent just went up 12%. I need you to understand this clearly. Financial peace comes from clarity, action, and control, not just good energy. Now, I think we need to talk about the advice that pretends to be humble, but is dripping with privilege. 6. I started with nothing, you can too. Yeah, sure you did. Started with nothing except connections, a private education, and capital from your rich uncle. Let's call this what it is: selective storytelling. It's easy to say, I made it on my own, when your version of rock bottom included family support, elite networks, and no student debt. Of course, there are real rags to riches stories out there, but they're rare, and they usually involve sacrifice, insane discipline, and a lot of luck, not just a motivational Instagram quote. The danger in this advice is that it makes people feel like failures if they're not rich by 25. It overlooks systemic barriers, generational wealth gaps, and the fact that most people don't have a financial safety net to fall back on. Be inspired, but be honest. Use other people's stories to light a fire under you, not to shame yourself. Truth bomb. Your starting point matters. Your resources matter. But what matters most is how you play the hand you've got. Now on to the advice that somehow made laziness sound like enlightenment. 5. I don't even check my bank account anymore. Of course you don't. You have staff to do it. This advice sounds enlightened, but it's pure privilege wrapped in a humble brag. When rich people say they don't check their bank accounts, they usually mean someone else is doing it for them: an accountant, a business manager, or a family office. If you stop checking your bank account, you're not being evolved, you're flying blind. That's how overdraft fees, missed payments, and lifestyle creep quietly destroy your progress. Checking your finances isn't about obsessing over every dollar. It's about awareness. It's about knowing where your money is going, spotting problems before they become disasters, and being intentional about your financial decisions. Avoiding your finances doesn't bring peace, it brings problems. Clarity is control. The real flex? Being so dialed into your money that you don't fear it, you manage it like a boss. This next myth is all about pretending the world hasn't changed. Number 4, buy real estate, it always goes up. Okay, good point, but tell that to people who bought at the 2022 peak and are underwater now. Now, please don't get me wrong. This advice used to be true-ish, until people realize markets don't move in straight lines. Real estate is a long-term game, not a guaranteed jackpot. In 2025, the real estate landscape has changed. Interest rates are higher, property taxes are up, insurance premiums are wild. And let's not even talk about how zoning laws or local politics can flip a great deal into a financial dumpster fire. Real estate can be powerful if you understand market cycles, interest rates, and cash flow. Buying property without doing the math is like playing Monopoly with real money and no rules. Want to build wealth with real estate? Great. But run the numbers, know the risks, and stop thinking granite countertops equal generational wealth. Blind belief in always up is a great way to go bankrupt with granite countertops. Now we're getting into the myth that confuses volume with value. 3, read a book a week and you'll get rich. All right, now listen up, because I hate to be the Debbie Downer here, because reading is amazing, but execution beats education every time. There's this idea floating around that success is just one bookshelf away, that if you read enough self-help, finance, and productivity books, your life will transform overnight. But let's be honest. Reading about doing push-ups won't give you abs, and reading about investing won't make you money unless you actually take action. Reading 52 books a year sounds impressive, but if you're not applying anything, you're just a walking trivia machine with zero results. Information without implementation is just digital hoarding. Instead, pick one book, one concept, and run with it. Apply it obsessively. Track the results, tweak, repeat. That's how people grow. Not by binge reading, but by binge doing. Here's a pro tip. Don't measure your growth by the number of pages you read. Measure it by the number of changes you make. This next one will ruffle some feathers a bit, especially on social media. 2, become a millionaire by starting a business. Yes and no. The hard reality is most small businesses fail. This advice is like telling someone to jump into the ocean because a few people made it across. Sure, starting a business can lead to wealth, but it's also one of the riskiest, most exhausting things you can do. What people don't tell you is that running a business often means being the CEO, janitor, marketer, customer service rep, and therapist, all before noon. And the worst part? Many entrepreneurs end up making less money with more stress than they did in their 9-to-5. Entrepreneurship isn't for everyone, and that's okay. The glorified start your own business narrative skips over the sleepless nights, inconsistent income, and years of grinding with little payoff. Not every idea is a unicorn. Not every person wants to build an empire. Some just want freedom. Smarter play? Learn how businesses work, build a high-income skill, and test your ideas while keeping a safety net. Don't let Instagram hustle culture shame you into thinking employment equals failure. Build a business if you have a great idea and a clear plan, not because it's trendy. And finally, the number one myth that keeps people stuck watching motivational YouTube clips instead of building real wealth. Number 1, manifest it into existence. Visualization is powerful, but without execution, you're just daydreaming with a Pinterest board. Manifestation has become the financial version of wishing upon a star. Just think positive. Just journal your dream life into reality. Just vibe your way to millions. Here's the truth. No one's becoming wealthy off positive thinking alone. Manifesting without momentum is spiritual procrastination. It's easier to make a vision board than to build a business plan, but only one of them pays rent. There's nothing wrong with affirmations or intention setting. Those tools can help direct your focus and energy, but they're not magic spells. Real manifestation equals vision, plus action, plus relentless follow-through. You've got to move your feet while you pray. Dream it, yes, but then go get dirty. Make mistakes, learn, adjust, try again. That's how people actually succeed. Want to manifest millions? Cool. Start by manifesting some Google Docs, a budget, a skill stack, and a calendar full of effort. Manifestation works best when it's paired with massive, messy action. Now, in order to bring it all together, I need to address something very important real quick, so pay attention. Look, not all advice is bad, but a lot of what goes viral online is oversimplified, out of context, or just flat out irrelevant to the average person grinding their way up. Real wealth is built with strategy, execution, resilience, and a bit of rebellion. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. or skip your iced coffee. You need to focus on income-producing skills, smart investments, and long-term thinking. So if this video opened your eyes, hit that like button so the algorithm wakes up too. And drop a comment below. What's the worst financial advice you've ever heard? If you're serious about building real wealth, quietly and powerfully, you must understand the concept of stealth wealth, which we've talked about in recent videos, but break it down for complete beginners in this next video. Just click the video on the screen now, and we'll see you there.